ever since the ubiquity of adult material, and I would also say social media, men have been doing worse than women. Now, a lot of you confuse the direct cause of this particular outcome. It is not to do with women doing better, but it is more about men doing significantly worse than women. So let's address what's changed that we can unchange. So there's the soma and there's the psyche. Let's talk about the soma first, the body. So the biological and psychological ramifications of adult and social material, beginning with the soma, okay? So women's reproductive cost is high per pregnancy, but relatively infrequent, so 1 egg per month. Men's reproductive cost is much lower biologically per event. That's the key. So millions of sperm per ejaculation. But this creates the trap. Men can overspend their reproductive energy daily, draining vital resources. Now, someone commented on a previous video about this idea of retention benefits for women. What is the equivalent? I actually get this question more often than not. There are no benefits. She is already benefiting from the fact that she is only subject to loss of sexual fluids 1 time per month. In that way, she's kind of handicapped to her benefit that she cannot tax herself more. Men, on the other hand, we are not limited to once per month. We're not even limited to once per day. And this is where the disparity starts to come. This is where it goes back to what I was saying relative to the fact that it's nothing to do with women doing better, but men doing a lot worse, because we are taxing ourselves to an extent where we cannot recover. And a lot of people, particularly Julian Lee, or it might be Julian Blake, forgive me, have coined this the male period, because all of the same symptoms that are commensurate with ovulation are commensurate with a man post-nut. Irritability, lower energy, fatigue, emotional instability. So let's talk about these resources. So seminal fluid is metabolically expensive. Zinc, magnesium, selenium, L-carnitine, proteins, neurotransmitters, all packed into sperm and support fluid. Chronic ejaculation equals chronic micronutrient drain. Compare it to an athlete who trains but is never recovering. Studies have linked sexual exhaustion to decreased AR sensitivity and reduced testosterone efficiency and lowered drive. Here are the cliff notes. Men are more sexually unattractive and less reproductively valuable than they were 75 years ago. And the reproductively valuable element does have influence on perceived sexual attraction. Just go back to my previous video that I did on stomach empty, balls full, number 2, on the masculine gene expression elements of what I'm speaking about. Now let's talk about the psyche. This one for me is probably the scariest, well, one of the scariest ones. And it's this idea is that men's brains evolve to treat visual novelty as a cue for genetic variety, hence why we get huge dopamine spikes when seeing new women. Adult material exploits this, creating endless novelty, and not just adult material, but also social media. Infinite partners, zero effort. This rewires our reward system, making real women less stimulating and less worth pursuing compared to the low-cost fantasy. Long term, how does this affect us? We lose drive, courage, and tolerance for imperfections of real women and real relationships. Now, there is a reversal here. This one is, we're not going to get rid of this, but it is important that you recognize the perverted way that this has degenerated the psyche of a lot of, and to be honest, a lot of this is Western women, I will say, or westernized women. IG, TikTok, and social media in general creates a unlimited validation loop. A woman with 5,000 followers is subconsciously equating that to 5,000 men at her feet. This warps her expectation. Women overestimate their perceived value. She alters her behavior in response to this validation loop. So think about it. This is the cliff notes. Men withdraw. Why bother when I can get the dopaminergic hit online? Women inflate expectations. Why settle when I can always get attention online? So this is the curse of both of the sexes here. Social media and pornography make you perceive normal women as unattractive. This goes back to the initial premise, guys, that it feels, or at least it seems to me, when you look out into the social media landscape, that women have life on easy mode because of the inflated ego that we give her, and men have life on the hard mode because we cripple ourselves neurologically, and we also cripple ourselves biologically and reproductively. And that's not a theory, that's a fact. Speak soon.